and welcome to the Let's Do Video podcast. I'm David Maldo, and Let's Do Video is your source for information about business video solutions and strategies. We're going to do something a little different here today. I recently wrote an article about a video conferencing application called Spin, and thought it'd be fun to dig a little deeper and chat with the CEO of NetPower and Light, the company behind Spin. Now, a couple caveats before we jump into it. We don't go through the full feature set. It's kind of a top-level discussion. So to see what I really thought was so interesting about this application, I suggest you click the link in the description below and read the full article. Also, since it's available now on mobile devices, I met with Tom on an iPad and recorded it by hand. So please excuse my novice camera work and a little bit of glare on the iPad. That being said, I hope you enjoyed the next 10 minutes as much as I did. And if you do, please be sure to follow me on Twitter at Let's Do Video and sign up for our free newsletter at letsdovideo.com/newsletter. So hello, Tom. Thank you for joining me here today.
Thank you for spending time with us. This is great.
I really appreciate it. I recently wrote an article about Spin, and I thought my users, well, I know I had a few extra questions, so I thought I would meet with you on the product itself and ask you a few questions. And a quick note for my readers, I'm not going to do a full demo here. It's a free app, so you can download it and play with it yourself, or read my recent article to learn more about the features. But I might play a little bit just to kind of show what's going on as we go through. Now, the first question I wanted to ask you is, this is so different. Anyone who read my article will see this isn't your typical video plus screen share with a few extra bells and whistles. This is almost as if you guys never heard of video conferencing and just started from the ground up with something completely different. So what made you decide that the old paradigm wasn't working for everyone and some people wanted something so very different?
I guess the thought process was actually using other services that have video conferencing, all the way from the extremely expensive, a whole room and a big screen at the end and you have to dial all kinds of stuff, all the way down to some of the stuff that's currently available where you have to hand off control to another user and that sort of thing. And we felt that in this day and age with the technology and tablets and iPhones and smart devices, that being able to actually just connect with somebody and have a conversation face to face was very powerful. Another part of that, and what we found, is that when you have a conferencing situation where you're looking at an entire conference room and everybody's there, it's very difficult to really understand the nuances of what they're saying and body language, etc. But where you give everybody the opportunity to have, a camera and a voice, you can have a much more efficient conversation. And so that's part of what we were doing. And basically, technology moves forward, bandwidth moves forward. We're able to do a whole lot more than other systems could do in the past.
Well, it's definitely a very different dynamic, and I think there's serious business applications, but I have to admit it really is a lot of fun to use. Now, going on to the second question, I know your team comes from a background where you were working with an application to allow musicians to meet and jam, if I can be a little hip there, online, which is very interesting to me because I know the technology to do that is very hard. A little bit of latency will completely mess up a musician session. But music, it's an interesting mixture of structure and spontaneity. So I'm wondering if working with musicians and coming from that background, what kind of carried through from the music application to what became Spin?
Well, part of the issue is a conversation, and the company was originally founded by two gentlemen from Russia getting their master's degrees in computer education. They literally Microsoft hackathon type contest, won $25,000 and headed to Silicon Valley. The original idea, they were both musicians, both guitar players, and they had friends in Russia and other places that they want to play music with. Obviously, you have to work on a number of things, and latency is the biggest issue, being able to have a conversation. And so they did that. They put both video and audio latency, very low latency elements together in the product. And then being together where you can actually play music together. But that also extends over to conversations. And when you have a large delay in a conversation, two things happen. people are talking over each other and interrupt. Then you have the phenomenon of people not talking and waiting for the other one to finish, and the whole protocol of human communications changes quite a bit. So, but a low latency capability required for music, and then extend that into all aspects, including collaboration, where we're watching a video, and if you stop the video to collaborate on it, everybody sees that same frame, and there's not a difference. Is the technologies that we use in our product and how we put all the different elements together. And to your point, the guys, when they were first working on this stuff, they didn't really look at other video conferencing products at all. They just said they wanted to play music together. So they started with a clean slate and a blank piece of paper and created the technology that sits behind Spin.
Excellent. Now, going on to business applications, there are some fun things in Spin here. Let me see if I could find. I can throw an apple at you and set up fireworks. And while at first glance people might think, okay, those are just fun little toys, in my mind, it just shows the possibility, because if I can throw an apple, if I can do fireworks, we can add all sorts of elements through your APIs which have serious business applications. And I wrote in my article about how it's being used, and not just theoretically, but you actually have customers and it's being used for telemedicine and airline maintenance and whatnot. I was wondering if you had any, since we last talked, any other stories like that, or features or applications that you want to share.
So more and more, the concept of video and video conferencing is becoming popular in the customer service realm as well. Oh. So where you and I are being able to talk in the background here, we've got a diagram of a schematic of some kind of airplane device. To be able to talk about that together, to have that in fact on the screen at the same time, is very powerful. And a customer service point of view, not only for technical issues, but being able to have the tools on board to look at different elements. So for instance, in a healthcare world, if you want to talk to a doctor, with the new Apple Health tools that they have, you're able to actually put up on a screen your blood pressure, weight, it's all the different things that they might want to see, and you can do that as well. Those are some of the tools that we're looking at putting in here, and we've just begun that as well. In that, if you've got a computer or an iPad or some application that's running, you can actually run that application on the background of our system and our layered architecture, and be able to have somebody face-to-face take a look at that and be able to talk you through the problems that you're having while controlling the different devices. In medical, being able to look at an X-ray, CT, MRI, and add tools like measuring tools or different doctors use, and I'm not a doctor, I don't know much about it, but being able to add the measuring to collaborate with somebody in potentially a foreign country or in a different city is very powerful as well. So yeah, we are extending that. Our tools are actually built for our customer to be able to identify what tools they'd like to have. Instead of throwing tomatoes or fireworks around, being able to put up a ruler, being able to put up a drafting set of tools for a diagram, and different things like that. And so we're building libraries for different applications.
Excellent. That's exciting, because it's not just the cool features that we have out there, it's the possibility of what we haven't even thought of yet. So I can't wait to check back with you every few months and learn more and more about what's happening out there. And for my last question, we're meeting on an iPad right now, and I'm recording it on you can see here on a phone. So I apologize for my shaky hand camera work here, but it's the best I could do. But eventually I want this on the desktop. I want this on my desktop. I want it in everything. So I wanted to ask, is there an ETA for moving it to the to other form factors?
We now have our in alpha testing the WebRTC version of this for the browser.
Excellent.
We'll be releasing that probably in February. We're very careful of not releasing things that don't work very well, so we've got our QA to go through, and we're in the process of doing that. It's a set of tools that allow people on an application basis to build it into their applications. But the basic Spin WebRTC will be available here pretty soon, within weeks.
Wow.
And then the Android version of this is another thing. Both tablet and phone will be ready in February as well. So we moved forward. In fact, the whole browser stuff has taken on kind of a life of its own when we get into customer service applications, because people are on a browser, they want someone to pop up. So we accelerated that process quite a bit, actually, and we will have that soon.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to it, and I apologize. I didn't realize my hand would be so shaky here. Sorry, viewers. I hope you're not getting motion sick, but I appreciate your time here. I've learned a lot, and if anyone wants to learn more, please check it out it's at getspin.com. Is that right?
Netpowerlight.com or getspin.com. Either of them work.
Great. Thanks so much for your time.